Well, one thing's for sure, I am really glad that I went to see Mockingjay last night instead of this night, because the theater was packed with little high school girls wanting to go see Katniss Everdeen. I was in a nicely unpacked theater to see this R-rated comedy. So that was a very nice thing to see happen. Hello once again, watchers of Good Movies. My name is Nick Pell, and this is once again coming from my apartment. Now today we are going to be talking about the film The Night Before. This is an R-rated comedy which stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Seth Rogen, and Anthony Mackie. We have seen all three of these actors in films within the last couple months. Joseph Gordon-Levitt was recently in The Walk, which I also reviewed on this channel. Seth Rogen was in Steve Jobs, which I also reviewed on this channel, and Anthony Mackie was in a film last weekend that I reviewed called Love the Coopers. So all these actors, they are involved in projects very recently, so I don't know when they actually filmed this movie. Something very obvious if you did see the trailer for this film is that there are a lot of funny moments throughout this film. I found myself just laughing just in various sections just because of funny things which happened. Even a part which was shown in the trailer had me just laughing hysterically because of just how well it was delivered. And Seth Rogen is kind of the key behind that. He is his typical stoner, druggy type of character, and he does it in a very comedic way because he knows how to play this type of character by this point, and he knows how to use the comedy well. The film does kind of focus on Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character though. Many years back, his parents were killed by a drunk driver on Christmas Eve or something, and so Seth Rogen and Anthony Mackie, they're his friends, they come together, they're like, we're going to spend Christmas Eve together, and so that's becomes a tradition. Many years later, Seth Rogen's going to have a kid, Anthony Mackie is a famous football star. So they decide this is going to be the last Christmas Eve that they have this tradition, and they're going to go out with a bang. And so the film does really focus on Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, and I think because of that, because it doesn't strictly focus on this trio as a trio, it tries to kind of divert them off into their three separate stories at some point. It kind of fails as a film, it just kind of falls apart at some points. One thing, the film is very predictable. There's a person who shows up 3 different times and interacts with each one of these characters, and you can kind of tell what's going to happen in regards to that character. You can kind of guess what's going to happen in regards to the majority of the plot, just kind of where this whole thing is going to go and how it's all eventually going to play out. Because we've seen a lot of this stuff before. We've seen issues with fathers who are going to have a child soon. We've seen people who are lovesick and can't get over their ex. We have these types of things which we have seen repeatedly in Christmas films and in romantic comedies and what have you. And so it's nothing really new, and the film doesn't really do anything particularly unique with it in that regard. I will say that the cast itself does have a very good chemistry. I really liked seeing Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Seth Rogen, and Anthony Mackie all interact with each other because I thought that they had really good rapport with one another. I thought that they had been friends for many, many years, and I just enjoyed seeing them all three together on screen when they were all three together on screen. When they split off, that's where the film just doesn't really get that interesting. I found myself a little bit bored, honestly, with the film when it did decide to do that, because I want to see these three friends hanging out, having a wildly good time on Christmas Eve. I don't want to see them diverting into their own little pouty fits and then eventually coming back together, as you can kind of guess is going to happen. And I don't know, it just kind of annoyed me at some degree. The cameos, though, throughout this film are actually very, very clever, because besides one which is shown in the trailer, you don't really expect to see some of these characters or these actors pop up, and it's just very clever. There's also very clever hints and kind of callbacks to other characters that these actors have played. For one example that I'll kind of spoil here, Seth Rogen is using an iPhone tracker to kind of find his phone at one point. It says, what kind of jerk invented this? And it's kind of, I don't know if it's true, but it seemed like an Easter egg for his role in the Steve Jobs film. And yeah, those types of things, which are kind of very subtle, but also very clever if you kind of know and can kind of catch them. I appreciate those things in movies. The ending scene per se, like where the whole climax of the film kind of comes together, that was also very well done. That was probably the most interesting aspect of the film. If they had decided to go something along that route within the first hour of the film, I would have been probably a lot more satisfied with this movie, because that was easily one of the more interesting parts of the whole movie itself. Not really the journey getting there, but once they finally got to this massive party, it got really exciting, and I enjoyed that section of the film. It's just kind of leading up to it when all three of these guys are splitting off on their own paths. Didn't really find it that interesting. And we don't really get to know any of these characters as a result, despite the fact that we are seeing their own story arcs. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is probably the person that we get to learn the most about, but even so, even when things are happening to these characters at the end, I didn't really care that much. I didn't feel concerned or really heartbroken about things that happened to them. It's just like, okay, yeah, kind of had that coming a little bit, and I don't really care that you're having this thing happen to you. The Night Before is it's a fine Christmas film. It's gonna make you laugh at some points, and if you're not really expecting much out of a holiday film, except for kind of some R-rated comedy, which does work fairly well for the most part, then you will probably enjoy this film. I just found myself kind of not enjoying it quite as much as I was really expecting to. I thought this one was going to make me laugh throughout the entirety of it, just because the trailer kind of portrayed it that way, and I just found myself a little bit disappointed overall. But those are just my thoughts, guys. Let me know yours in the comments down below. Did you like the movie as much as I did? Did you hate it more than I did? Let me know. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe once again if you so choose. I appreciate it immensely. And as always, my good people, my name is Nick Pell, and once again, keep on watching.